This is a regular board meeting of KMIC. It is now 8:30 a.m. on May 10th, 2021, and we have a quorum. It's time to use the pledge, and Mr. Skinner, will you give the invitation?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come today and serve our district and our students, our community, and we ask that all that we do in this meeting be honorable in your sight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
First action. Okay. The board will now reorganize by selecting officers or by general consent.
It's my recommendation that I can make a recommendation that we keep the officers the same as they have.
I make a motion. I second.
Motion made and carried. All those in favor? Motion is unanimous. Do you agree with this? No. The district provided a special link to the public comment sign-up sheet for this meeting. This link is on our district webpage under our school board. No anonymous submission will be read in public comment. Participants must follow procedural guidelines of submitting name and topic on public comment sign-up sheet. Comments submitted shall not take more than 2 minutes of the board president to read to the board. No submission will be given less than 1 minute. The district followed the public comment procedures for this meeting. The public comment sign-up time ended 20 minutes before the start of the regular meeting. The submission times are listed on the notice for this meeting. I need a motion to approve the consent items as presented, minutes of the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees on April 12, 2021, and the 2021 required summer school program.
Raise your hand, I so move.
Mr. Smith made a motion.
Second.
Ms. Atkins, second. All those in favor? Carried unanimously.
We are going to skip number 1, go to number 2, Mr. 5 is here. We will now go to number 3, employee recognition. And this is something that Coach Carr, if you wouldn't mind standing up. This is a little something for you on behalf of the board and administration for your hard work, dedication, and the success that you've had prior to this year, plus this year. And so we wanted to say thank you. We tried this at the last board meeting when I called you, so you were in the car carrying a bunch of kids to tennis. So if you don't mind opening that up.
Am I qualified to open this up? I'm not really good at this, but yeah, Christmas
It just
time I
slides.
tear it off. There you go. It's pretty heavy, right? Oh, that's beautiful, y'all. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
We appreciate you and your dedication and everything that you've done for us, and for our kiddos that are on there as well.
Well, thank you.
When you get there next year, you can win, you'll get bigger.
That's the plan. Probably not gonna do that.
All right, now we'll do our employee of the year, teacher of the year.
We're gonna start off, of course, let me
That's saying what?
You bet.
I want to start off by saying, first of all, we have some great educators in this district. have to narrow it down based upon the voting of their employed co-workers and peers that who stood out, who's doing the best, who's going above and beyond, and we have individuals who have obtained that status for our district. And I want to start off by acknowledging that Miss Christy Mims, she was the TES Teacher of the Year, however, her dad passed away. And she's not here with us today, so please keep her in your prayers and her family. But I'm going to recognize that individual and also read a little bit about her and her teaching philosophy. And then we'll go from there. And we'll start off with the Teacher of the Year at each campus. And then we'll go to the Globe, which will participate with the, in the Longview, greater Longview area. They all met last week when we had a reception at the Eternal. And they were all given a $200 or $250? $200 gift certificate sponsored by Brookshire. And they can use it however they want to, but it's a recognition of all the school districts in the greater Longview area. And so we did have 2 recipients that are there, but we'll start off with Christy Mims. She's our TES Campus Teacher of the Year. And she said, I firmly believe that children will never learn anything from me until they believe that I truly love and care for them. I remind them daily that even though they may not see their abilities, they are radiant shine through. If it happens while they are in my classroom, I will be ecstatic. But if after they move on, I will be on the sidelines cheering for them. Teaching has not always allowed me to educate the future, but has brought me more joy and fulfillment than I could ever imagine. So, Ms. Christy Mims was our Teacher of the Year for the elementary campus. Next, we have Ms. Shirley Harris. She was standing, Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris is our Teacher of the Year by middle school campus, and I'm going to read her teaching philosophy. It says, my philosophy of education is that all children are unique and must be part of an educational environment that is stimulating and helps them grow physically, which connects with them mentally, relating to the mind, emotionally, instinctive, and socially living within the community. My aspiration is to create an atmosphere that allows students to work to their highest potential. And in our world where technology is the top source of communication, I will provide an environment where students are invited to voice their ideas with no risk of penalty for contributing something special to their own education. Upon receiving a teacher certification and an oath was taken that I will hold students to their highest potential with an open mind and positive attitude on a daily basis, I owe to them to provide consistency, to use hands-on learning, relatable stories, and individual work that engages them in the hope that I can ultimately inspire and encourage these traits as life skills. And Ms. Harris is our special education teacher at our campus. She's on the middle school campus. She's also been in reading before. She's been on special ed in the last few years, and she's done an excellent job. And her peers recognize her for that. And as a district, we want to take the time to recognize her for her going above and beyond and being the person that we all want as a teacher. So at this time, we want to give Ms. Harris her token of appreciation from the district. And within it, it is a paperweight with her name and initial on it. And it is for you to cherish, and because we truly cherish you. Next, we're going to combine the last 2 individuals. We're going to start with Christy Carr on the primary campus. She was our TPS Teacher of the Year, but also on the Globe, it's broken down by elementary and secondary. And she was our elementary Globe Teacher of the Year also. And it says, I teach because I love making a difference in a child's life. I chose teaching as my profession because every day I have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of my students. I believe each one of my students should be given the opportunity to learn and grow in a secure and nurturing environment. Each day I try to inspire and challenge my students to become successful, lifelong learners. I am driven by the motto, every child matters and every day counts. So on behalf of the district, we want to recognize Ms. Carr for her going above and beyond, not only this year, but also in years past, but we definitely want to recognize her. She also will get a paperweight with her name, see, but also she gets a cutting board to cut up.
Yes.
So she's able to cook for Coach Carter to get us back to state championship.
And I love Tatum, and I appreciate serving alongside all of you. Looking at you come and volunteer your time like this, and I know how you invest in our community and kids, and it makes a difference in our district, and for me as a teacher, it makes a difference. So I truly appreciate each one of you and our administration, so thank you.
I brought her here.
And I think we need a picture of both of y'all together, and both of your boards now on Facebook, because I think our kids need to see this right here and see and let them know that.
Well, you know, it's funny because, I came here one year and Christy stayed in Henderson and taught an extra year, and I remember talking to her. You gotta get over here as fast as you
Yeah,
can, and she did,
she's been special to our family.
great.
And finally, we have the THS Campus Teacher of the Year and also our secondary globe winner. And it says, my curriculum is centered around the themes of dignity, justice, and human rights. We talk about the importance of being an upstander rather than a bystander. By reading books like I Am Malala, Born a Crime, To Kill a Mockingbird, Night Hamilton, and Julius Caesar. And we confront these difficult themes most through classes, such discussions, debates, Socratic seminars, which I admit my students dread at first, but eventually come to love. My overall goal is to get them to engage meaningfully with these stories in order to feel inspired to share their own. Through essays, narratives, poetry, and speeches, we attempt to make sense of our place in this world. To me, that's holistic curriculum. Similarly, my classroom environment reflects those same values. I try to value my students' dignity and anonymity. I love it when they assert themselves, speak boldly, and stand up for themselves and their friends. I'm not afraid of noise. I'm not afraid of a lively debate. I'm definitely not afraid of impromptu dance-off or freestyle battles. Because at the end of the day, if my kids think I don't like them, then they will not learn from me. So I listen to them. And when we get serious, when we need to, and sit in when we have to, it makes them feel seen and appreciated when they allow me to see them for who they really are. When they really feel accepted and included, then we can start the process of true education. The purpose of education is to create a well-rounded, independent, contributing member of society. We are creating people, not workers, because we want to give them skills that they would make them free thinkers, self-creators, and advocates for justice. Of course, this will make them good employees one day, but it will also give them purposeful and meaningful lives. So on behalf of the district, Mr. McGuire, we want to take the time out also to recognize you for all your great inspiration to our students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say, I never even heard of the state of Texas until 4 years ago. I'm from Houston, I taught at Marshall, and you guys have just welcomed me with open arms. I've gotten to teach so many of your children, and it's always been such a pleasure. And thank you guys for all the support that you've given me as an individual teacher, but also just the campus and the kids. It's really been awesome to teach here. I really don't ever want to be exhausted as long as you're happy.
We want to use a picture of cars. All right, cars.
Okay.
Stand up, you goodies. Y'all made a haul today.
Yes.
Draw.
Y'all, he didn't really know that this was happening. I Thought he was coming over to watch me.
More, that was fun.
Well, actually, just a quick thing.
Oh, he's
So-
sweet.
Then you told me to put the act. Thank
Y'all, appreciate y'all. Y'all are free to go. Next item that we have is the state has released a portion of our ESSER money, and Payam ISD, the first round is about 1.488689, so almost 1.5 million. The second half, the 744,345, we have not received any guidance as of yet when we would receive that. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, appreciate you guys.
And so for a total of 2.233 is what we are set to receive. When we receive that money, we have to come up with a plan of how we're going to spend that money. And so these are some potential uses that you can use those monies for. For incentive pay, recruitment, staff retention pay, instructional coaching and leadership, tutors, if we want to pay tutors to come in. We can also pay for our summer school that we already do. We can pay those teachers out of that. We can buy technology needs. Also, any extended year learning, which we do that after school, and we can use that money to supplement in there instead of using what we normally use. This money is basically, normally when you get money, they say you can't use it if you've already got it designated, but now we can use this when we were using it locally. We can put our local money back in the fund balance and use this money. And then with facilities, ventilation, I know there's some things that we've looked at, ionization, ionization filters that go in. We did that in our field house, because when you walk into the boys' locker room field house, it would just stink. And so we put that in there to bring all that smell out, and it supposedly kills a lot of viruses. So that is something we're also going to look at. Not only does it kill staff in the field house, but it'll help in the main buildings of killing flu viruses and things in the air. So we can use it to purchase those items. And so over the next couple of weeks, we'll be developing our plan of how we're going to spend this. So I just wanted to let you know that we did receive a portion of those funds, and that will help us. The next item that we have is our instructional materials and allotment. We do this every year. Basically, this is what we're spending some of our IMA, instructional materials allotment money that the state gives us. We just have to list our curriculum that they are meeting the teams. And so that is all this is just the curriculum that we're using across the board. I recommend approval for that.
Do I have a motion to approve the 2021-2022 instructional materials allotment and TEKS certification?
Mr. President, somebody.
Ms. McAllister, that motion. Mr. Skinner, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item we have is the bank depository contract. Mr. Miley?
Yes, so we put out RFPs for the two banks in our town. I've got them both back by the deadline, reviewed them this weekend. It's my recommendation we stick with Texas Bank, based on the service they provided us in the past since I've been here. It's been excellent. There's no fees associated with us banking at that bank, and they continue to outperform the yield on our money markets, continue to outperform all the Texas pool investment pools are out there right now. Quite a bit actually, they're outperforming the current rate. So I recommend that we stick with the Texas Bank for those reasons.
motion? Ms. Atkins, seconds. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
The next item we have is consider and approve playground equipment at Eagles Nest. This is the total, I'm sorry, Mr. Fife, this is yours. Sorry.
Ms. Green and I, of course, when you look at what we've accomplished and what's taking place out at the park, right now, if you've gone out there, if you've had a chance to go out there, there's a lot of hazardous spots there. And I've got, in the last 2 weeks, parents and teachers coming in and complaining about it. And all I can say is it's been addressed. And currently, right now, over a period of years, our goal is to get by plastic, so it lasts a long period of time as opposed to wood, which would deteriorate. And going out trying to patch it, you're gonna be patching another side later on. So going with a thing that would be matching, I can't remember what brand that is, but that would be how it would look. It would be start off with one big towel, I think it's called. And with that, if you know, out there right now, there's a smaller little kiddie park. This would somewhat take care of that right now because this is smaller for smaller kids. This portion here, of course, would be for larger kids. Starting out initially, also, if you notice, on that smaller part, there were little swings. This, you have 2 older swings, you have some more smaller down to infants where you can kind of strap them in. So it gives a variety on the swing. Currently, right now, the swing it's in bad shape also. So going with this would be also, part of this would be outlining this instead of the cross ties that are out there, which they rotted over a period of time and have rods sticking up, which is hazardous, and we've cut them off a couple times. But in looking at that, we would have green plastic, what do you want to call it?
It's a board.
It's like a wall, what do you call it?
Retaining wall.
Retaining wall per se, a green plastic retaining wall that would surround the whole playground area. And with that, we would come in and add the mulch ourselves. We would take 2 truckloads, our maintenance guys would distribute it and put that out themselves. Sanford and Son has put in a bid to tear down everything out there and then go in and install this green barrier around, and then the main company would come in and put that equipment up. Right now, based upon next Sunday, when we have the cleanup day, the job and the purpose for that group that's out there will trim all the trees, kind of go into cleaning that area up before we step off into adding that equipment and making it worthwhile for going out there. Of course, right now you got little leagues going on, and you got parents that are going over to the park, and it's just a problem waiting to happen for somebody. So hopefully we can go ahead and, little league will continue to go on, but we had people, I was out probably a month ago, Beth and I was talking to this guy, and Bagel had about 50 kids out there. So people come in and go with that, and we don't want to be responsible for something that happens out there when it's going to be neglectful on our part as far as not addressing it. We don't want that. So that's kind of why we can get away with the wood and wrought iron and go with more of a plastic that goes with the rest of our campus that prevents over a period of time. It would really be helpful. Of course, over a period of time with rain and all, we don't have to replace mulch, but we won't have to worry about everything else. And that's a good thing. And we will try to salvage what's out there for swings and all, if we can maybe connect it and maybe put it on another campus possibly. Yeah, well, it's not so much the equipment, it's what it's hanging on is the problem. It's kind of, it's deteriorated and rotten actually over a period of time. So we're looking at that particular cost to add it. And one of the other things, which I was at Lowe's the other day, they did include, where's that on there? The table and the chair.
The table and chairs?
Table and a bench. I think it's.
Okay, it's not on here. Okay. It's not on there.
She did want to include a bench, because right now we have wooden out there, a bench and a table. It would be a round table It would also be in a green color to kind of go with it, at least for a start. And my suggestion was that we can maybe get the, both. Most people go out there and have little kids, especially at the other schools, a little picnic area. Even when we go out there, you can have tables to sit down and kind of eat if you wanted to. So maybe by getting 4 tables that are wooden tables and bring them out there heavy duty enough where they're not blowing in the wind or they can be stabilized and say, because one of those tables like $900.
It's $981 for 46 round picnic table.
So $981, you can look at, you probably can make at least 2 tables. As long as it's the way it is, you probably can get 2 tables out of it, but that would just give us more seating.
And a 6-foot bin is $477.
Right.
So that's why we did not include that.
So we can go that route and have it, and we can actually paint it if we wanted to, and match also that color thing, we could paint it and have it, put a color on it where we wouldn't have to worry about it. So that would be kind of the goal of getting those 2 campus shops involved to make tables and have a little picnic area to go along with the theme. Any questions?
What's the projection of
As soon as we get it going, I mean, once they trim all the trees, they can get going on pretty quick.
And what was the total cost to replace or to remove everything and have everything new installed, including the benches, 6?
Total $7,500. That's for removing the existing playground and installing that edge around.
And what about,
structure to 98,000?
Go back up, Dr. Fritz.
Yes, 98,885.
Right.
that's for all of the new,
The new equipment,
So let's go over,
about 114,000 per year. And that includes the mulch and takedown and border and then install the hedge.
Yeah, I like it.
And it should last, because, you know, our primary equipment, it's lasting. It's the same equipment.
and that should be, it should go up pretty quick though, right, once they started?
Right.
Let's go for
It definitely would enhance, it would definitely enhance the view out there.
it. I think it's good.
It's gonna look good.
And then if you, when we have other schools coming in, you know, and, you know, you're not
There are
embarrassed.
people, I have
Some
some
kids
kids
out
over there twice a day, and I'm very seldom go through there's not somebody.
Oh, always.
So it,
And I'll go ahead and say this too, and within one of the NIDIT meeting, actually one person, and I heard from another one after the meeting, lighting. And that's not what we don't propose to put lighting out there, but the recommendation would be to get more lighting out there. If you don't know who that light, that particular area is not lit. And hopefully we can maybe talk to the city, and the city could help maybe even put up a light, some strong light, the housing bulb or something that would shine over there. Because there are a lot of hidden areas when those lights are not on out that part, that particular area, and that's why we want to trim it up too. There's some spots that are not very safe. So, maybe we can get with the city, maybe they can kind of help us out and go and put in some sort of strong light, housing bulb that kind of shine that whole area. That would be great.
Dr. Richardson, the road there right behind it going down to the lower baseball park. Are we gonna be able to kind of smooth it out a little bit?
We talked about that a lot, I thought, but
I know, it's down on top of the pipeline, but it really get just as far as the pipeline. Right up that hill is where it's the worst.
Are you talking putting rock down, or are you talking concrete?
I'm just talking better,
Okay,
whatever it is.
well, we can look at it and see. I know we talked about putting some rock down.
yeah, it's crushed concrete or something.
I think, just crushed concrete, pipeline, whatever, that's no problem with that.
Well, to say, as we went out and looked at that, part of, hopefully, number one, those cross tires are not doing a very good job as far as helping that retaining wall from that playground. Hopefully by by installing this ring plastic, it would help turn that water a little bit, because that's the problem we have, is the runoff and the water loss that create that problem going down that hill. Maybe that drain, and we were talking about a drain possibly, to help take that water elsewhere and drain it, as opposed to creating that wet spot in there and this erosion that those cross tires have done a very good job over the years to help reroute that water.
Because there's a lot of cars on the outside, it's not like 40, 50 cars, yeah.
So my recommendation is that we approve with the pricing that is listed in the, board meeting.
I make a motion to approve, program.
Okay, I have a motion, by Ms. Amy, Ms. McElwain's made a second, all those in favor?
Next item, we're gonna skip down to number F, and this is to approve a proposed amendment to our district of innovation plan. And last week, sorry, Mr. Five, go ahead. I don't want to. Yes.
Last week we met as a DIT team, and part of that is a couple of things we wanted to do. Number one is, in looking at the calendar this year, there's a lot of people who, when we had that week off, that kind of throws a loop for some, and some people didn't want the week off, some people said they wanted the week off. But the thing in that is, what started this whole process was looking at that and was working, it would require them to come back to work, professional teachers would come back to work the first week in August. Okay? And everybody, well, some will not want to give up this, that's too early, and so forth. Well, going back and look, 2 years ago, the legislation repealed a law that they required 187 days. Okay, we still have them require 187 days. But when they changed the minutes from 75,600 minutes, you didn't need 187 because they don't want teachers up. We're still requiring them and wasting time in their time. So therefore, whatever you can get in as far as the number of days, it is what it is. They're not required to work 187 days. They're required to work a 10-month contract. That can be confusing because you don't really talk days unless you're talking payoff for the teacher. So really, it's a 10-month contract. But based upon that, within that 10-month contract, teachers have to do 187 days. That's not the case anymore. They're on a 10-month contract. Okay, and that caveat with 187 days. So that means we can bump back instead of coming the first week, they can come the second week. So that helps them to feel better, but this allows us, when we're talking about, that's what started this whole conversation. So next, we wanted, why not go ahead and amend the things we've wanted, especially in the past couple of years, when we talk about hiring people, when we're talking about different things that fall in that category. So the first one here is one of the things we want to be able to allow alternatives to certification when it comes to certain certifications. This originated because of CATE, Career Technology. So let's say we have a welder who's worked at TU or Lumen for 25 years and has experience, and we want to hire him as a welder instructor over here. Well, he doesn't have any certification, he doesn't work in school, but yet with work experience, he could fall under there and we could have him work and not report to the state for it, not having a certified person. They qualify based upon skills. Okay? So wouldn't be any different if we hired, let's say in a given year, we're looking for a math teacher. And that is very difficult to find. If we could find an accountant who has 20 years as an accountant, wants to stay home now, get more off with kids at the same time as far as vacations and all, we could hire that accountant to come teach math, and we would be fine. This allows us to do that. And in a given year, who knows what can happen, because with COVID, we had teachers retiring, getting out, we didn't want to be in the school system. But that caveat allows us to do. Move down. The second one we wanted to is, and this would be a great example. So let's say we had a teacher who left in December, and we had to hire a teacher in January. With the number of days they can qualify to be able to get a year's service for them, However, if you evaluate them, from January to really the first quarter of May, because it comes to a point where you can't have them after that, and 10 days prior to the last day of school. So you're really talking about the first quarter of May, cutting it off. You really don't have time to evaluate that individual. So if you have 5 of 8, you cannot go back on a probationary if you have 5 of 8 going into the next year. So that person comes in, they're hired on a probationary contract. If they get 5 of 8, then they would go to a term. This would allow us to put that individual back into a second year to have more time to possibly evaluate that individual. Sometimes, once again, a great example would be if we hire somebody in January, they would get a year and then they would go to term if they had 5 of 8. This would allow us as a district to say, no, you need another year, we can evaluate a little more time. Okay? Especially last year would be a great example too, because of COVID. Anybody in the spring semester, we went out in March, you would have had time to evaluate anybody. But the state did exclude that, and they had that special caveat for last year. Richmond, or was that that's the last one?
That's it.
That's it. So those 2 amendments on there are kind of to benefit the district, to help out, number 1, with alternative education, to allow us to possibly hire in different areas where if we're in need. And, you know, at one time, the teacher unions were worried about districts just hiring people for a need. Now we're rejecting. This is at a need basis. If we get in a line, we can be able to do it. There's no paperwork to send to the state. We would notify the board and we would notify parents. There would be any paperwork. Currently, right now, all that is a lot of paperwork sent off to the state, put them on different permits and so forth. That wouldn't be the case. This allows us that flexibility. And of course, the next one would be the number of the days for the probationary contract, getting those lined out. Any questions?
So our teachers are not gonna have to come back the first week, they're coming back the second week?
Correct.
Do I have a motion to approve the proposed amendment to the ISD District of Innovation by allowing alternatives to educator certification and the flexibility of teacher probationary contracts and renewals as presented?
President, so
Mr. Williams made a motion.
I say that.
Ms. McElwain, second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is, my recommendation is that we make mass, what's the word I'm looking for? Optional, thank you. Starting May 26th will be our last day of school. So after that, starting May 27th, mass will be optional.
Well, May 27th is graduation. You know how a lot of people want to be outside, since it is outside, all covered up and comfortable, when it could be pretty warm.
And graduation is on May 27th at 8 p.m. and then we are going to open it up. So everybody will be there. And it would just be better making sure that we have mask optional at that time. That will help us with having it open up. Allow it.
what about the Sunday before? We don't have an outside ceremony for the,
Where's the city?
No, I'm sure it's inside.
sorry,
I'm sure it'll be inside.
inside.
Any questions?
Still cool.
Do I have a motion to approve amending the current mask protocols, allowing the current mask protocols to end May 26, 2021, and allowing for optional mask wearing starting May 27, 2021? Ms. Evans made a motion, Ms. Smith second. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
All right, before we go outside, we'll go over this real quick. Mr. Vice will take the lead on this one because he's been running the show with the scoreboard.
Figure out how to work
And so, kind of tell you the difference. I guess I can put the scoreboard up there because it's really one main difference.
Wes and I talked to, I think we have a total of 6 different companies on it. And out of the 6, of course, if you notice, and you might, if you really pay close attention to, the primary campus video board looks a little different. The reason behind that, number one, it's a little bit up to date technology. But the most important part you don't see is the software behind it. Right now, on our board out here, and even at elementary, people, Michelle, who's in there dealing with this every day, it is not, and Westport, it is not very user-friendly. It's made in China. And it's horrible. Daktronics makes the best software period, and they service it and teach you. They got curriculum with it that goes with it. It is the most user-friendly software out there to run any kind of, whether it's a jumbotron, whether it's a display board, they just have the best software, okay? And the things you're gonna see the difference in this will be some people you talk about, I guess, would be the LED lights, or you can say in photograph terminology, the pixels. So on two different options here, one is with 10 and one is with 15. 10 is the latest. It's like going from a 4K television. I want to say regardless of what we go with or decide to go with, what we have out there right now is obsolete. You can't even compare even what we have now to a 15. It'll be a vast difference. It'd be kind of like going to digital, analog to digital from what we got now. And from a 10 to a 15 would be more going like from a digital to a 4K. That's the difference. There is a difference in prices also. So option 2 is a smaller one, if I'm not correct.
Yes, yes.
It's smaller, but it has better quality as a 10. However, 15 is awesome. Don't get me wrong. And we go outside, I think that only shows 10. But from what we have, from what we got out there now to even 15. Carthage has 19 as far as the LED lighting. So once again, at that time when they purchased theirs, it was a lot more, and it's gone down. But we could get a 15, which would, the clarity in the display would be totally different. So the difference in the pricing, number one, is Daktronics makes they're proud of the product, let me say. But at the same time, they have a reason to be proud of the product because you can count on it. The warranty is a 5-year warranty on it. They have somebody out here the first game. Their support is in the United States. You can get somebody out here calling on the phone, they ain't coming now. That's the difference. But the main difference on what you see as pricing is the LED lighting that goes with both of them. This board right here at the bottom, this is permanent. What you see here. From this corner to that corner, that's all digital. Okay? So let's say on a given Friday night, you can arrange this however you want. You could have support, they call it anchor partners, which are sponsors. You can have those going on the side, you can have them going on the bottom, you can arrange this however you want. You can arrange your scoreboard to put it at the top, put the video at the bottom, however you want, because anything in that display you can arrange. The other part of this would be graduation. This would be full screen. You would have a scoreboard on here, you would have a total digital screen that you can see. One of the other things, let's say soccer. When they come in and set this up, you would have an iPad on the field. The coach would have an iPad on the field. And this would be set up, so let's say you hit the soccer icon. On that soccer icon, you might have a T, and let's say we're playing Spring Hill, a SH with a hash with a score and a score. It wouldn't look anything like this, but they would set it up for our template. So the clock would run, all they're doing is keep the floor in the field. We wouldn't have to have 5 or 6 people up running, trying to run this whole thing. They could all run it from the field. That goes once again with the software that they have that connect all of them to run together.
Our current board is 252 square feet.
But what we see out now is 252.
The smaller board option would be 839 square feet, and the larger board top, and this is the video part, would be 1,020.
So what we're looking at out right now is a 252. And if we went with the big one, you're talking about 5 times more. And better quality. Because once again, when we looking at what we're looking at out there, this, you would see it, and it would be a vast difference from 252 to 1,020.
Now, that is, you know, the replay portion that you see the football players. If, it's bigger than that, if you're showing like where the scoreboard part is, that's digital,
This.
it'll be even bigger than 1,020.
So right now, let's say during the game, you're looking at this, and this, you're looking at it, it's 1,020 right now. Okay? So and they have the ability to replay it, and this won't be on you. So during the game, if they won't hit replay, you wouldn't see this. You would see a total which gets even larger than this. Because I want to say, what do we say, this is 6 feet?
Yes.
6 feet, this is 6 feet. So you're talking about if you replay this back to full screen, you gain in 6 feet, and I think it's, 46 total?
4610 for a total of 1,221.
So now you get another 200 and something feet added if you take away the scoreboard. Also, the other additional thing that comes with it, which is the new thing now, you notice in our 25-second clocks, they put in time on top of them now. Okay, so as a quarterback, if I'm not facing the scoreboard, I can see the clock and the play clock all in front of me. So I don't have to turn around and look at it. I see it in front as they go in a 2-minute, trying to hurry up before halftime. At the end of the game, it's all in front of me. That's the other thing. So that comes with this. So we would definitely get 2 more dollars that comes with this whole package to install.
You mentioned the Eagles are lit up.
No, all of this is backlit. Eagle, and this at nighttime, you'll see it'll have light behind it.
And so we have anchor partners there, and that's where we could do sponsorships, if that is something we want to try to. Go ahead.
Can we get them to bring his demo down for graduation?
You know, Brandon and I was talking about it this morning. I think as much and as bad as they want my business, I think they will. I don't think. And you have a chance to ask them out there. I don't see that as a problem. Because when he Wednesday afternoon, he said, hey, I can hook the trailer up, it became available. Monday morning, they gave me work out there this morning, they had it out there ready. So I think if we said, hey, would it be possible? I think we would have a problem with that.
Did you say they only brought the 10?
I'm
They
pretty
didn't
sure.
bring the cheaper
Right.
for us to compare between the two.
Yeah. Once again, 15 is awesome. And you want 10 is 4K, but what we have out right now, you can't even compare 15 with that. I mean,
But
it's
the
a bad difference.
10 is more expensive.
Yes, it is. Yes,
It's
sir.
100,000.
I'm trying to, there are 3 different colors in the team. Red, blue, and green, I think. And the good thing about that front, on their display board, let's say one of these things, this goes out, they have it in stock, they make it. If you go to all other companies we talk to, we know where they're going. They've already said it, and they're going to China, and right now, getting it there and getting it made and coming back, the cost is pretty much balancing out itself.
What's the black part at the center of the top? Is that anything or? That's a speaker.
And they recommend black because over a period of years, that being white,
Yeah.
it becomes very filthy. And if you remember a couple of years ago, well, actually what we have out now, we replaced that banner at the top because it had faded so bad. So that black spot, they kind of, and we just put in a brand new speaker last year, one big speaker up in there. So the audio is fine. We wouldn't have to do anything with the audio.
Well, Wes said we had an extra speaker we could add to it.
You can. Yeah, that's not in that plan.
Okay.
That would be if you wanted to send another speaker and add it to the visitor side. And whether they can hear better. We know we can hear better, it sounds better. So not worried about the visitors right now. We can see and we can hear very well to our side. There's a basket from what we had there too.
On the bottom where it says Acre Partner,
Okay.
once those were placed, are those ever changed or is that forever?
Two things are going. One, they have a marketing part where he mentioned a school in Dallas. I think their revenue was pretty bad for their revenue for the school. They ended up getting $2.1 million to pay for the school. Based upon their marketing people coming in and helping market this. So you can look at it. The other way would be we solicit to, let's just say 4 or 5 major companies. They will stay up there and be, let's say, a 5-year agreement that they pay X amount of money. You can go that way. The other way would be, let's say if you had this group at a certain amount of money at the bottom. They stay up there, it's lit, it's seen. If you have a smaller group doing each timeouts and all, you can rotate on the screen. So when they put up like touchdown, you can say, I don't know, Texas Bank, or what is it, Vera Bank, blah, blah, blah. You can have it pop up kind of on the side here and rotate it. This is just more of a permanent thing. We had a rendering of how one of those other ones look, but it takes up some of the screen. And we want more of a full screen.
And I don't think you're gonna see any boards around here that I'm aware of that have the digital, video scoreboard. Most of the boards around here are permanent scoreboards. Right. With a time.
They call that a static board where this is permanent. And they did have a drawing, but we want it all digital board so we can utilize it for graduates, for training. I mean, you can have it lit up and you look at the whole board.
Yeah, instead of having at graduation, looking at it and it says the score is 20
Yeah,
and
right,
21.
There you go. Right, yeah, that would be completely off. The only thing you would see at graduation would be these things.
Well, we can walk out there and take a look, since they drove all the way here. Say that, Mike, can you say that? Yeah, no, just say that. Oh, the board's gonna walk.
The board will now, meet outside.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good.
How'd you get over there?
Well, you were busy.